Nora is confronted by her family, who blame her for a past pregnancy scandal and demand she sign over her company to her sister, Angela. Nora refuses and leaves, despite their insults and attempts to provoke her. Angela even taunts Nora about her child, leading Nora to slap her. Later, at her hotel in California, Nora encounters a man carrying a young boy. He recognizes her and calls her Miss Smith, leaving her surprised. Who is this man who knows her name? Why did his presence make her pulse quicken? And most importantly, why did the child in his arms look so much like Cherry?
Nora stared at Justin, her mouth hanging half open in astonishment. The man was very tall, standing at just a little over 6 feet tall. He was dressed in a black bespoke suit that drew the eye to his long, straight legs. The lavish hotel lights spilled across his blank expression, highlighting the angles of his face. He radiated arrogance. However, the mole at the corner of his eye brought a charming touch of human beauty to his cool conduct. For all his haughtiness, his manner was restrained. The little boy he was holding also wore a suit. He had buried his head in the man's shoulder. A casual onlooker might have assumed he was just a shy child, but he had been taught to hide his face when he went out in public. The Hunt family feared the media might try to take photos of their youngest child and start trouble for him. But Nora was in no mood to wonder about the child in Justin's arms, or appreciate Justin's good looks. She had more important things to worry about. Had Justin Hunt found out that she was Athena? The alarming idea had just occurred to her when she noticed Justin's frown. He looked straight at her and said, "Stay away from my son. Also, you're not my type." His voice was deep and melodious, smooth and musical to the ear. It made people want to hear him speak a little more, at least until they were driven away by his chilly aura. Nora's eyelids had been drooping because of drowsiness, but now they widened big and round in confusion. Before she could recover from her surprise, he turned away and strode off. The other people in the hotel lobby looked at her all at once, and then took a step back as if she was contagious. Hushed whispers broke out amongst the crowd. "That was a bad move. I've heard many people have tried to get close to Mr. Hunt through his son, but he hates that more than anything. The last woman who tried to cozy up to the Hunt's youngest ended up with some old man in the end. I don't know what the woman did, but clearly she's screwed up." It was only when she overheard their comments that Nora finally understood why Mr. Hunt had spoken to her so rudely. She shook her head in disbelief at his arrogant assumption. Is that man out of his mind? Once Justin had left, his bodyguards also withdrew. After a few moments, the hotel lobby went back to normal. Inside the Hunt family's extra-long black Bentley, Justin's son Pete had a sullen look on his face, and he made a silent protest. Justin frowned. After his son's abnormal behavior earlier that night, he had checked the surveillance camera footage in the corridor. There, he saw that woman he had just encountered in the lobby had kissed and hugged his son. The problem was that for the very first time, Pete, who had always avoided others and disliked physical contact, hadn't resisted. Had that woman overcome his son's shyness with her beauty? He thought back to her sheer loveliness that even her casual clothing couldn't hide. There had been a kind of wild carelessness in her manner, from the way she stood to her gesture when she yawned. Not to mention that startling defiance in her cat-like eyes when she was facing him. She was utterly unlike any other woman. He wondered what tricks she had up her sleeve. Back at the Smith house, Anthony arrived just as the birthday party was ending. Angela's face was swollen and a clear handprint could be seen on her cheek. She pressed a towel filled with ice cubes to the bruise. In tears, she complained, "Why are you so late, Anthony?" He looked uncomfortable for a moment. On the way to the Smiths, he had taken a detour and asked a private investigator to help him find out more about the beautiful woman he had seen at the airport that day. Anthony coughed awkwardly and put on an anxious and concerned look. "What happened? Did Nora hit you? Is she refusing to cancel the engagement? Where is she? I'll take care of it myself." Angela hesitated. Take care of it himself, but that means he'll see her. She thought of that aggressively beautiful face and her heart filled with dread. She tried to tell herself she was being silly. Even if Anthony were to see Nora again, that didn't mean he would like what he saw. right?
Angela, nursing her bruised cheek, wrestled with her own insecurities. Had Anthony's detour been more than just a simple errand? And would his newfound interest in Nora reignite a rivalry that had long lain dormant? On the other side, Nora, oblivious to the turmoil she had caused, finally understood the reason for Justin's cold dismissal. His words, though harsh, were a shield, protecting his son from the prying eyes of the world. But as she replayed the encounter in her mind, a different question gnawed at her. Why had Pete, so averse to contact, willingly accepted her embrace? And what was it about her that had caught Justin Hunt's attention, however fleetingly? Hi, Nora here. If you are wondering what happens next, then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Saving Nora Now with the link in the description.